Hey guys, I kind of made a resolution to do one video a week, and as a person who's lazy, I like doing the minimum possible. But I feel like and I did a video yesterday, and I did a Bruno Mars cover. But I feel like today, uh, the, in today's time, there's something really important that I need to talk about, and so I'm gonna address it now. What makes me qualified to talk about things like this? Well, first of all, I'm Asian. I'm Asian American, and my self-defense background is as a kid 2 to 3 years taekwondo, and then 9 years of judo, 3 years of Muay Thai. uh, I I had a blue belt in Brazilian jiu-jitsu from a prestigious school before they kicked me out. um, so I have a pretty extensive martial arts background, and the stuff that I'm talking about here is actually common sense. Except common sense. There's this phrase in fighting: everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face, right? Uh, so so right now that we're uh, perceived to be under attack, and sometimes it is that we are under attack. Uh, a lot of the common sense that we expect other minorities to be able to follow, and just stuff that just comes up in our brain, goes out the window. So today I'm going to go through 5 common sense techniques for dealing with anti-Asian racism. Okay? Number 1. By the way, yeah, I'm wearing the same clothes as yesterday. We are under quarantine, so if you don't like it, okay. Number 1. Keep your spirits high. We forgot that we're not in the 90s. I mean, yeah, Asian Americans still experience violence, but the racism we encounter is not is we're actually above this. Actually, we are. The racism that we encounter is typically institutional racism. Uh, it's the so-called bamboo ceiling that Asian Americans are stuck usually in middle management. Uh, Obviously, lack of exposure in Hollywood, lack of role models, the perception that we are timid, the perception that we lack empathy. Uh, yeah, and that's our fight. Our fight isn't actually that we're under attack. This is almost like a plant from from the uh, whoever, like, insert conspiracy theory entity that 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 that's stopping us from actually fighting the things that are actually that's actually at our level. Okay, we've made lots of progress, and going back to tribalism, going back to their they're gonna attack us is a step in the wrong direction, in my opinion. All right, so what are things that you can do to keep your spirits high? And another thing that's important, another reason why this is important, is that uh, one of the biggest dangers of anti-Asian racism is the risk of suicide. Uh, there, there was an interview between Andrew Yang and Fat Joe, and Andrew Yang pulled out a stat that recently the uh, the percentage of the total population that's Asian that's at risk of suicide more than triple, and that's that's based on the fear well, obviously fear of coronavirus, but also fear of violence, fear of just like a whole, like a big dread in general. Okay, so depending on your upbringing, beliefs, and systems, there are different things that you can do to keep your spirits high. You can pray to whatever God you have. You can meditate. That's very big nowadays. Uh, Positive affirmations, especially if you are in the more liberal cities. And this is still valid, but it's oh yeah, okay. Here's another one. Spend time improving yourself. You 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 don't have time. You don't have bandwidth to worry when you're spending a lot of time improving yourself. And okay, this one is it kind of works, except it kind of sabotages the other things that you can do that I'm going to list. The last one is assuming automatic superiority over races. Like somebody goes, "Oh, yo, fuck you, chink," and then you just look at them and like in your mind you're like, "Oh, I'm above them. I don't have to listen to anything they're saying." It works, except it's going to sabotage you for the other tips that I'm going to talk about. Okay? Okay. Number 2. Love your non-Asian neighbors. Okay? It's, I think, difficult because a lot of us don't even love our own Asian neighbors. And actually, a lot of us don't even love our own family. But assuming you did, and if you don't, that's something to work on, especially in this pandemic, right? So one thing I've noticed when hanging out with black communities is that like they don't change their way of showing love. Like if you go to like a black house party, they're gonna show you love the same way they show other black people love. Okay, Asian people have like a different way of communicating with their friends and family, and it also varies based on the region and the culture and everything like that. But however you show Asian people love, show it to your non-Asian neighbors. And also and what that requires is venturing outside of norms and behaviors. And it's actually not as much as, especially if you're Asian American and you're living in the same area, it's the norms and social behaviors are not significantly different. It's a little bit different, and then it creates a perception of like a barrier to connection. So you just have to be able to get over that. Another big thing to get over, especially if you especially if you like if you're very smart, or you're very rich, or you're very career wise successful, right? You have to be aware of barriers caused by income, IQ, and education, and you just have to not let them be barriers, because how much you make, how quickly you pick things up. I don't pick things up very quickly except for certain things, and how many degrees you have. They're not objective measures of human worth. Okay, and you're going to have much less localized racism if you're actually friends with your neighbors that aren't Asian. Okay. Of course, some of them you really can't be friends with, but uh, let's pretend that's the exception because it probably is. Okay. Number 3. Don't feed the trolls. Okay. I see a lot of examples of anti-Asian racism. That's if you really look at it, take a step back and look at it, it's trolling 101. Okay? You go to YouTube comments, people troll all the time, okay? What's the answer? Don't feed the trolls. Um I mean, going back to what I said in the beginning, there's not a lot of Asian celebrities in the West, but celebrities get a lot of hate. Just pretend you're a celebrity. Celebrities get trolled a lot worse than most of us do. Okay. Number 4, and this is if you feel unsafe or there's signs that you should feel unsafe. For example, I saw an example. I saw a story of of whoever leaving a decapitated cat on the front lawn of an Asian couple's house. That is a big red flag, and other big red flags uh, include uh, random cars driving by the your place that you've never seen before, and more annoying things which are basically yellow flags are if people leave hate notes on your door. Um, if you feel like you're unsafe, there are things you can do, like uh, put hidden cameras outside of your place, like that have visual access to your lawn if you have a lawn. If you feel unsafe, I'm personally not doing it, but if you feel unsafe, uh, again, being friends with your neighbors. A lot of times, your neighbors end up being bystanders. If you talk to them, they go, "Oh yeah, uh, this happened," but at least you have corroborating evidence. And once in a while, if the person doesn't, if the attacker, if it's not a real attacker that's too violent, your neighbor's going to go and confront whoever it is that coming into your property anyway. Uh, if you can, there's door armor that you can install if you think if you want to reinforce your doors. It's actually literally called door armor. Again, I'm not installing it. I I think I live in New York City. I know all my neighbors. I don't think I'm at a huge risk. Uh, and there's no point in reinforcing your doors if they're just gonna break through the window. So you could also put window film. Window film. It reinforces the windows and makes it doesn't make them bulletproof, but it makes them axe proof and uh, basically hammer proof and stuff like that. I I forgot. I think the best film is Lumera or something like that. Luma. Yeah, just if you feel like it's necessary, put it up. Uh, they, they they'll even install it for you, so you don't have to have air bubbles on your windows. Bear spray. You know, I was reading like a gun advocate talk about bear spray versus a 44 Magnum to defend against a bear, and but basically the bear spray wins every single time. Because you can basically fire for 6 seconds straight, and it and even if you miss, it has a huge radius. And if you just watch videos of people even getting caught with 1 second of bear spray, uh, after they get sprayed, they can probably charge toward you for a few more seconds before they're completely incapacitated. I heard, I mean, I read on Wikipedia that some people have an immunity, but uh, the chance, I think the chances of that are much lower than the chances that uh, in a very stressful situation you're actually gonna hit somebody with let's say a gun. Okay. And outside of your house, one thing that you can put is body camera. They sell they sell cameras that are installed into pens, and they're completely inconspicuous. Me personally, I'm not gonna do that, but uh, it's it's a good idea. Okay. Number 5, learn self-defense. And let me just break this down a little bit. Okay. Now, self-defense. Okay, this is assuming there's no immediate physical projectile threat. Immediate physical projectile threat could mean bullets. It could mean rocks. It could mean anything that's flying through the air that could really hurt you. And also this is also assuming there's no immediate risk of sudden attack. Like okay, so if there's an immediate projectile risk, if you have a car, go get into your car and drive away as quickly as you can. Okay. If you have an immediate risk of a sudden attack, like somebody's running towards you and they're about to if somebody's running towards you and their eyes are looking at you, and or even if they're walking at a brisk pace towards you, first thing you do is you move out of the path that they were going, and if they're still going towards you, you have to kill them. But okay, or otherwise incapacitate them. But other than those two, here are the steps you have to take. Number 1, first step, if you're encountering anti-Asian racism, is to befriend. Okay? It's going to be hard because by your own definition of them being racist, that by definition there's somebody you don't want to be a friend to, but that's the best way, and you can come out unscathed, and it can actually be a positive experience. Okay, so befriending. Remember, you have to keep a 6-foot distance anyway, so you don't need to get very close. And that's a coronavirus related tip, which I'm sure you've already heard, and you should adhere to. Okay, befriending is when if they're saying something to you, you really get what they're saying, like really like underneath their words, what is the pain that they're feeling? You have to really like feel it for yourself. Okay, not the typical Asian. I understand what you're saying. Okay, like not like that. Like that's like understanding on the like logical level. But really, when they're if they're saying something to you, there's if they're saying something angry to you and they're not like psychopaths, even if they're like mentally ill, there's some really deep pain that that they're experiencing. So first of all, really like let that pain be felt for yourself. It's called empathy. And then, if appropriate, just repeat back what they told you, even if it's "fuck you, chink." No, wait, no, okay, don't do that. Like, and in that case, say just feel what they're feeling, and you can just express the emotion that you feel after feeling what they're feeling. Like you're really angry, and keep doing that as long as time allows. It you probably end up getting out of there unharmed. And then and uh, and then if it doesn't work, if they get closer than 6 feet to you, uh, all all the while the shoulders are tense. They their hands are either in a claw position or a fist position. Okay, they make a sudden movement upward with their arms. They put their hands in their pockets. Or they otherwise look sneaky as they're moving in with less, closing in under the 6 foot range. Then you know your befriending didn't work. And so you move to the next step, which is escape. Now, when I say escape, I don't mean just run. Okay, you could just run if you're a track star. And in either case, if you have like shoes that stop you from running, like heels, you take them off. Okay, and you just leave them. You can even pick them up later. But so escape means you use a non-lethal weapon, such as pepper spray. Um, since they were originally more than 6 feet away from you, you have enough time to take out your pepper spray. Don't use a knife because knives aren't going to stop the person until they hurt you, and then they're going to die. Okay. Uh, if you know Muay Thai, uh, teep, throw a front leg teep onto their stomach and run, and uh, or you could keep on throwing low kicks to them into the leg until they can't stand anymore. I actually don't recommend groin shots. They're very unreliable. The last time I got kicked in the groin, the last time I got kneed in the groin, it was in Muay Thai, and my reaction was to return a knee to the ribs to the person. That incapacitated him. Okay. So groin shots not reliable. If you don't know if you don't have a devastating kick, I don't recommend even kicking at all. Okay, if you don't have a devastating unarmed attack, I recommend like there's pepper spray or and this is not really a recommendation, but it's something that I really want to express. Um, it's probably illegal, but it is a non-lethal weapon, a Stinger tactical whip. If you look it up, from all accounts, it hurts. Like it's going to stop whoever on the track. Like, and then this would be more of a recommendation in a non-coronavirus time, but not so much now. You if you're like a judo or wrestling like expert, or a Brazilian jiu-jitsu, you take them down softly. Do, uh, Resist the urge to smash their head into the concrete. Right, take them down softly, and then if you're a judo person or a wrestling person, now's your time to get up and run. If you're a Brazilian jiu-jitsu person, uh, or if you're just good at chokes, put a choke on them until you feel the body go limp, and then let go immediately, because otherwise you could kill them, and then they could still be trying to fight afterward, but there will be no threat. The threat, even if they try to attack you, there's no threat. The only threat they have now is that they infected you with coronavirus. It's not a joke. Okay, and in this phase, the escape phase, your attack should be max one combo or a takedown and a choke. And if the choke fails, don't. If you're like a huge Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert, you could do whatever you want once you're on the ground, as long as you're not armbarring. Choke. You can either choke them out, or you throw one combination max, and you escape. Okay. That's what. And if that doesn't work, if you can't incapacitate them or finish them, or otherwise give yourself enough room to escape, then you have to fight, right? And you have to determine if I'm just thinking about this. If while you're trying to escape, they pull out a knife, then you have to kill them. Or if you can't escape, right? Or yeah. If they pull out any lethal weapon and you can't escape, you have to kill them. But that is a last ditch effort. Okay. So to recap, 5 common sense techniques for dealing with anti-Asian racism. You have keep your spirits high, love your non-Asian neighbors, don't feed the trolls, up your security, and learn self-defense. I hope this was informative and helpful, okay? I think all of it is solid advice. And you could, and they're implemented as needed. You don't need to implement all of them at the same time. In fact, that's not advisable. Except learn self-defense. I think everybody should at least know how to de-escalate. Everybody should know how to de-escalate situations, okay? Because there are circles when you can't just verbally attack people and expect them not to physically attack you. Okay? Okay. I'll post another video next week.